Hello everyone. My apologies. This week my message won't be our typical message. I won't be reading any verses or anything like that because I've had a minor eye injury making it difficult to read, and it should be cleared up in about 2 or 3 days and I'll be back to my old self next week. So I decided to take a little walk with you, but I wanted to kind of go over kind of a follow-up to my sermon this last Sunday. So we'll be talking about that this week on my Hello again, my name is Mike Gray and welcome to another 5-minute message. As I mentioned, we're just going to talk about my sermon last Sunday. It was about a church where a gentleman who had been attending for a while just stopped attending all of a sudden. And after a few weeks, the preacher decided he better go check in on him. And when he got there, the gentleman was sitting in front of a fire in his easy chair. Invited him in. The preacher sat down in the other easy chair facing the fire and didn't say a word. He just sat there for a little bit looking at the fire. After a while he got up, picked up the fire tongs and took a small log out of the fire, placed it on the hearth where it sat flickering and burning a little, and he went back and sat down. After a while the small log stopped burning, the fire went out, but it still had the glow of the coals. And as they sat there, the gentleman kept looking at the preacher and waiting for him to say something, but he never did, contemplating what he was doing and what he meant by all this. After a while, that little piece of wood turned dark and cold. The fire had gone out. After sitting looking at that for a while, the preacher looked at his watch, got up, grabbed a little piece of wood, and put it back in the fire. And the little piece of wood immediately ignited again. And he got up and headed to the door. Well, the man followed the preacher to the door, and with a tear in his eye, he said, "Thank you for the fiery sermon. I'll see you on Sunday." You see, if we don't meet together on a regular basis, to get together on Sundays to worship God together, our fire too can go out. This was sparked by a comment that a young man at another congregation had made and that I had heard about, where he said, "I'm afraid all of these people who are staying home because of the virus are never going to come back." You know, I think he's right. That's a big concern of mine too now. They're away from the fire, the flame that keeps their hearts burning for God, keeping them excited and in love with God, and they're staying home. And that habit is going to become permanent, and Satan will have won. You see, we need each other to keep that fire burning, to teach each other about God and His love through song, through the Lord's Supper, just through our example to one another. We need each other to help each other through the hard times, through tribulation like now, with the virus causing so much havoc in our lives. We need each other more than ever. But instead, out of fear, so many are staying home, away from the fire that they so desperately need. We need each other to encourage one another. Hebrews 10:24 and 25 take on a special meaning now more than ever. Consider one another, how to provoke one another unto love and good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together as the manner of some is, but so much more as you see the day approaching. We need each other now more than ever. If you've been watching my videos, but out of fear you've been staying home from services, I am honestly concerned that your fire for God may go out and your heart will become cold and dark like that piece of wood. But the beauty of it is, all you have to do is get back with God. Come back to the service, come back to the fire. And that flame will be reignited. I ended my sermon Sunday this way. You can go to heaven without your health. You can go to heaven without your wealth, without fame, without beauty, without tens of thousands of different things. But the one thing I am convinced of is you cannot go to heaven without the family of God by your side, supporting you and helping you every step of the way. May you keep your fire burning by going back to services this Sunday and being with the saints. Thank you for watching.